It's time once again for Uncle Matt's bedtime story. Hello, everybody. It's Uncle Matt, and I'm here to read you another bedtime story. And tonight's bedtime story takes place on a famous actor's birthday. It is Michael J. Fox's birthday. Happy birthday, Michael J. Fox. I really enjoyed watching you in the shows such as Family Ties, Spin City, and of course those cool Back to the Future movies. And we just wanted to kind of wish you a happy birthday, as well as talk a little bit about Parkinson's. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's disease. My father has Parkinson's disease. And we thought we'd read a story today about Parkinson's. It's called A Day with Parkinson's by A. Hultquist and illustrated by Joanne Lew-Vriethoff. And just another shout out, there is World Parkinson's Day. It's every year held on April 11th. And if you want to look at other resources about Parkinson's disease, please do, and check out the World Parkinson's Day events happening around the world. Here we go. A Day with Parkinson's. This story was copyright in 2016. Are you ready? Here we go. Noah and his mom were visiting Grandpa for the weekend. Today's the day we're going to the beach, Mom called. Go see if Grandpa is awake. Noah ran to his grandfather's bedroom, where he found him massaging his left foot. The toes were curled under, and Grandpa was trying to relax the muscles to straighten them out. Today's beach day. I know, buddy, his grandpa said. We're going to have fun. He didn't look very happy. In fact, his face didn't look either happy or sad. But Noah knew he was excited. His grandpa loved the beach. Noah's grandfather got his toes uncurled and slowly walked across the room toward the bathroom where he kept his morning pills. He lost his balance and stumbled. Noah was afraid he might fall, but his grandpa grabbed onto a chair to steady himself. When his grandpa walked into the kitchen a few minutes later, Noah noticed that his left hand was shaking. Did you take your medication, Mom asked. Yep, I should be better pretty soon, Grandpa replied. Noah watched his grandfather try not to spill any juice in his shaking hand as he read the news. He thought about how his grandpa had changed since he developed Parkinson's. His grandpa was usually the first one up in the morning so he could exercise and take a shower before breakfast. He still exercised every day, but some days he moved more slowly, and he had to wait for his pills to kick in. By the time his grandfather finished breakfast and reading the news, his medicine was working. He smiled and said, Let's get going. Hooray, Noah yelled. Noah, Mom, and Grandpa got on their bikes and pedaled toward the beach. When they arrived, they locked up their bikes and walked along the boardwalk. When they reached the end, Noah was about to run down to the beach when his grandfather suddenly stopped walking and stood still. Looks like I'm frozen, he said. Noah knew this meant his grandpa couldn't get his feet to move. Noah also knew he shouldn't help him unless Grandpa asked. Can you help him out, buddy? Can you help me out, buddy? Grandpa asked. Noah knew just what to do. He drew a line in the sand and in front of his grandpa's feet. Okay, he said, move your foot backward first and then step over the line. His grandpa tried it and it worked. Noah dashed ahead to claim their spot. When Mum and Grandpa caught up, they spread a blanket on the sand, but Noah didn't want to sit. Grandpa, I'll race you to the water, he called. Okay, his grandpa said as he fumbled with the buttons on his shirt. Let's have your mom get us started right after I take my medication. Noah's mother smiled and waited until his grandpa was ready. Then she said, On your mark, get set, go! Noah took off and leaped into the ocean. His grandfather couldn't have kept up with him even if he didn't have Parkinson's. Noah was too excited and too fast. All day they had a blast. Grandpa taught Noah how to build a castle in the sand, how to fly a kite in the air, and how to balance on a boogie board in the water. Late in the afternoon, Noah's grandpa said, Hey, buddy, how about going for a walk with me? As they walked, Noah asked, Can we race again? Not today, his grandfather replied. I'm starting to feel a little tired. Noah felt frustrated. Sometimes he wished things were like they used to be. Why don't we look for seashells instead, his grandpa suggested. Okay, agreed Noah, feeling better already. Grandpa, Noah said as he picked up a sand dollar, why did you get Parkinson's? The doctor isn't sure what causes Parkinson's, his grandpa answered. It just happened. But what made it happen, Noah asked. Well, Parkinson's happens in the brain. Certain parts of my brain had stopped working and making chemicals that control my body. That can cause problems. Things that used to be easy have become harder, like keeping your hand from shaking and buttoning your shirt. Right. My brain used to be able to tell my body how to move, and my body did it, his grandfather explained. But now, when my brain tells my body to do something, my body doesn't always listen. Like when we were at the end of the boardwalk, my brain was telling my feet to move, but my feet weren't listening. But I helped you, Noah said happily. You sure did, buddy, his grandfather smiled. Does Parkinson's make you have trouble sleeping too? Yes, his grandfather answered. It's also why I sometimes forget things, don't have a good sense of smell anymore, and sometimes feel too hot or too cold. But your medicine helps, Noah said, picking up another shell. My medicine helps a lot for some things, his grandfather replied, and my exercises help for other things. I need both every day. After a few minutes, Noah asked, Grandpa, will you get better? Well, his grandfather said, lots of doctors are trying to find a cure, but everybody with Parkinson's is different. So, for now, I'll keep trying to do the things that work for me. Will Mum or I get Parkinson's? Noah asked, looking a little worried. Probably not. Most people don't. You can't catch it from me like you caught that cold last winter. Noah and his grandpa stopped to examine a starfish in the small tidal pool. As he was looking at the starfish, Noah asked quietly, Is it my fault you have Parkinson's? You said it's in your brain and you hurt your head when you tripped over my toys and fell. Oh, buddy, his grandpa said, giving Noah a big hug. No, it's not your fault. You didn't make me get Parkinson's. No one did. It's just one of those things that happen. Okay, Grandpa. Noah smiled. Just then, his grandpa's watch beeped. Time for my medication again, he said. Grandpa took his medicine and he and Noah walked back to their spot on the beach. to decorate their sandcastle with the seashells they had found. At the end of the day, Noah helped his mom and grandpa pack up. "This was the best beach day," he said. "Can we do it again tomorrow?" Mom and grandpa laughed. "Maybe not tomorrow, buddy," said his grandpa, "but we'll come back soon." "Hooray!" shouted Noah. They all laughed and headed back, with Noah leading the way. That is the end. There is some notes, if you do pick up this book on your own, about Parkinson's, and it describes it a little more, what it is, and how to talk to children about Parkinson's. Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for Uncle Matt's bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.